Excuse me. What in the world are you thinking?
Mean Gene, the first thing you need to do is to tell these people to shut up if you want to hear what I gotta say.
What up, y'all? It's KB the Sexy Ninja in the place to be for Paper Saber Universe, and this is the New World Podcast, brother. We are going to talk about the first episode of Who Killed WCW ? Aired June 4th, 2024. It's going to be on Tuesdays, 4 episodes on Vice, who proudly brought you Dark Side of the Ring. I was interested. I was like, do I really want to watch this? Because I've read a great book back in the day by Guy Evans named Nitro. We've seen the documentaries, especially from WWE's perspective. We've heard the shoot interviews and stuff like that. I was like, And Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Danny Garcia was attached to this project. And Dwayne's in it. He is in this, and when you talk about the 83 weeks and whatnot, it's a rehash of a lot of things that we already know. The first episode is called Where the Big Boys Play. It's just kind of a rehash of a lot of things. But some things that I really wish that the documentary had was Sting, Ric Flair, people who are huge key factors. Of course, we got DDP, we got Booker T, and we got, I wish we had Hogan in this, man. We got Goldberg, we got Bret Hart. The list goes on of who we got in this documentary, but I was like, where's the key players, though, man? I want to hear more Rick about his feud with Eric and stuff like that. Let's dive deep. And I know this is only the first episode. We're introducing this whole thing. We're talking about, when Eric Bischoff got the job, he was just a salesman. I've heard this story 1,000 times. I've seen his documentary and how he got the job, and he worked for WCW. No, he worked for AWA, sorry. And then he moved over to WCW. And from there, he just slowly built up the ranks. And one day, when he became vice president of WCW, Ted Turner asked him, what is it gonna take for us to beat WWF? Going live, having a live show on big time television, Monday nights, prime time, baby. And that's what happened. September 4th, Nitro. So we cover on that in 95. And then, before then, they're like, what does WCW need? Trying to get him. He goes, Hulk Hogan. So we got the red and yellow Hulk Hogan back. He's doing Thunder in Paradise. And Eric took it to the not MGM Studios, but the Disney Studios in Florida so they can film it and be more, he can control the lighting and make it more of a television show. And, of course, when Scott Hall and Kevin Nash came over. So this rehashed a lot of great memories for me as well. As a wrestling fan, I was there, man. I was there from the get-go, just seeing all of this unfold and how it became so edgy at a certain point. And I remember Bash at the Beach 96 when Hogan turned on all of us, brother. He turned on all of us. He's the third man. And they confirmed that Sting was going to be the third man. But Hogan was like, I'll do that. And he had creative control. He can say yay. He can say nay. We know all of this stuff, but it did kind of take me back. And Bash at the Beach, I remember like, oh my God. And then he got dressed all in black. And it was like, oh, what is going on? And then he talked about the New World Order of professional wrestling, brother. And it's like, New World Order. And NWO, and those shirts were everywhere. And I mean everywhere. They were... Like, I had an NWO shirt, we had Wolfpack shirts, we had anything and everything you could have imagined that was a New World Podcast, New World Order, and stuff like that. I remember me and my friends would go into the schoolyard and we would beat each other up and stuff like that because he was wearing a Wolfpack shirt, I was wearing a black and white NWO shirt. Hogan was my guy, and Hogan always has been my guy, man. And it's really cool that we get to rehash all this. And also, too, we go into the conspiracies of, like, who killed WCW? That's the whole point of this. The big question mark. The big question, like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson says, who killed WCW? I think it was a handful of people. It's not just Eric Bischoff. You got Vince Russo there that just destroyed it creatively because he helped birth the Attitude Era. The Attitude Era was huge, and it basically was Vince was like, God damn it, how do we kill WCW? Oh, let's just rip off a lot of things they're doing. The reality, because WCW, what Eric Bischoff was doing with this was making it grimy, like behind, like, they showed the infamous when Rey Mysterio got his head plunged into the side of of a truck and stuff like that. So, you know, there's so much there. And of course, that's why I was like, oh, it'd be so cool if we can hear from Hogan. You know, all the bullshit he spews a lot of times, all the stories he makes up and whatnot. I think this was a really good introduction to this show. I'm very interested to see where we're going to go with this show, you know, just because I want to see how deep they dive. And after finishing this, I was like, okay, creative control, Brett, you know, when he was the ref, Starrcade 97, the build-up, 18 months of a build-up, brother. And it turned to shit, and that's where they say WCW was slowly falling off its ranks, and I think that could be the case, you know. And if you should check out the book by Guy Evans Nitro. He's in this documentary too, but I just wish we had a little bit more of a Hogan and Rick and more Bret Hart and how Bret Hart's time there was terrible. Like, let's dive deep. And there's been so many great stories, but if you want to check out something really cool, Nitro, check out that book, man. That is such a great book. The next episode is next Tuesday. We're diving more into the Attitude Era, WCW creative going to shit and how crazy it was, and the conspiracy theories of who is trying to manipulate or sabotage WCW. You know, so I thought this was a really great introduction to being like, okay, here's this show, Who Killed WCW, Episode 1, Where the Big Boys Play, aired June 4th, 2024. I thought it was cool. It brought back a lot of memories, man. I remember changing the channel back and forth. I remember them being like, oh, guess what? They would tell you what's happening on another show because Monday Night Raw wasn't live. It was pre-taped. So they would ruin that show just so you didn't have to waste clicking a button to go to the other channel. That's what's so crazy, man. And I'm really glad that this is brought upon fresh eyes because pro wrestling's bigger than it's ever been. Like right now, like it is huge. Anybody and everybody's doing a pro wrestling podcast, you know, and I'm like 558 episodes deep. And, you know, we talk about the 83 weeks. I like that Eric Bischoff is a part of this project and stuff like that. So, and the Goldberg, of course, you know, I'm never going to talk about him. I don't like Goldberg. But, all right, y'all. Tell me if you saw the show. Who Killed WCW? Episode 1, Where the Big Boys Play on Vice. Go check it out. Tell me what you thought of the show. I give this episode a solid 3 out of 5. Like I said, I want to get in the grime. I want to get in the nitty gritty. Give me something I've never heard before or seen. You know, give me some footage that was aired that never aired. You know, because this has been something that we've been using over and over again, and I'm hoping that the next 3 episodes we dig in deep into why WCW died, and not just blame one person, but a handful of them. So, all right, y'all. Tell me what you think of the show. Drop those comments below. Hit that like. Hit that subscribe. Share the bum down at Walmart. Go to ProWrestlingTees.com/New World Podcast. Get yourself that sweet nWp logo created by Penta X, and remember that the New World Podcast is for life. Brother.
The challenge that we had was the fact that we couldn't attract an audience. It looked horrible because you had to turn the lights down to hide the fact that nobody was there. How do we fix that?